I don't know about you, but for me, I enjoy Halloween more than I enjoy like Thanksgiving.
I think now I'd agree with you. I think I'd put Halloween first, Thanksgiving second, Christmas third.
But knowing that I made that one kid's night enough for him to tell me that he loves this house. He was sitting there telling me like, "Don't ever move out of this house." I was like, "My guy, I don't even live here. I live over there." Okay. What up, my people? Thank you again for joining us again for another episode. What episode number is this?
9?
9?
I
Okay,
think
welcome to
9.
episode 9 of
I
the
think
Chow and
9.
DIMES podcast.
Might
We
be
thank
wrong.
you for joining us. Today we're going to be talking about Halloween. Happy belated Halloween to everyone. I hope it was safe and everybody got their candy and hopefully didn't get their, piss their pants.
Well,
But
depends. Depends what people were doing on Halloween. But
That's
we
very
did
true.
some interesting stuff.
oh, wait, before we get started, I just want to let everyone know I understand that this was the episode where we were supposed to be talking about my trip to the Conjuring house, but certain things or certain circumstances came about where me and the person that I was going with couldn't go this weekend, and we ended up looking for later dates. Scheduling ended up not being what it should have been, and we're going to push it to the springtime, or at least until it gets a little bit warmer out. And yeah, because I don't know about you guys, but like if I'm going to go to the Conjuring house, I don't want to be there when it's like 20 degrees outside, wind
screw
chill.
that.
Yeah, no. When there's snow on the ground. No, I want to be able to walk around the property, take my time with it, all that. So
Yeah.
expect that sometime in the spring. Sorry for the inconvenience, but yeah, let's talk about Halloween.
Dude, Halloween was actually really fun. And
Oh my God.
so to kind of recap what we do for Halloween is one of our friends every year for the past like 10 years, they've set up kind of a graveyard in their driveway, and then they have this kind of haunted house set up where our friend's dad helps out scaring kids. We started helping out scaring kids, and it's gone really fun. And this year we tried to add a little bit extra, so where kids get their candy, we had a little tent area where we scared kids in, like we would stand in there and jump out, or just, make it kind of festive as well. And I think it turned out well. It turned out really well.
Yeah, the Facebook moms were loving it.
yeah.
The Facebook moms were loving it.
Yeah, for real. They love that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We got so many compliments, too, about that.
I actually had a really like wholesome moment at one point.
Yeah,
So
what's up?
there was a kid who was no more than maybe like, I don't know, maybe like 7, 8 years old, and I'm in the getup. By the way, to let everyone know, I was in all black with with just like a regular like skull mask. Nothing too major, just something basic where I knew I could get.
I'll probably put some pictures up. So,
Yeah. And Chow was the nun
I was
from
a nun
from The Conjuring.
From The Conjuring.
So it all ties into the Conjuring house. No. So basically what the kid did was he like came up to me and kind of like he knew I was real. So he came up and he like tugged me a little bit, and I like looked, I did the whole like, slow head turn with the head tilt, and he's like, "Can I have a picture with you?" And I was like, I like shook my head yes. And I'm holding a like a prop axe. It's probably the fakest thing that you could ever see, but a prop is a prop. So I do the whole pose where I put the axe over my head like I'm about to hack him or whatever. And as he's done taking the picture, I'm turning around to go back into my zone, let's say. And he hugs my leg. He hugs my leg and he says to me, "I've been coming here for the past like 2 or 3 years. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for doing this with your house, everything." And I'm like, "You're welcome. You're welcome." It was so wholesome. He said a couple other things to me, but I can't really divulge that information just because it's, I'm not just going to sit here and be like, "Well, he lives at," So that was my wholesome moment. But other than that, I love scaring the teenagers.
Yeah, no, it was fun. But the thing about that area, like where you guys live, is there's so many kids, man. It's crazy. So when it was getting really busy, there'd be like 5 or 6 kids at once that would walk into the tent. And there was a couple times. Have you ever seen those blow up costumes? Did you see the blow up costumes
Yeah.
that the kids would wear?
Yeah.
Bro, this kid literally almost took the tent down going in with the
Was it the one
blow-
with the dinosaur?
Yes. They
Oh
both
my
walked in at the
God.
same time, and I swear they were going to take down the whole tent. And I was like, oh, shit. And then I
Like
tried
holding
to,
one of the support beams.
yeah, it's like I was literally next to the like in the corner of the tent. I'm like, this shit better not come down right now. Oh my god.
All this hard work I put into this.
Nah, we didn't even build it. Our friend did, but
No, we did. We did.
okay,
did.
yeah,
we did.
We built it, but yeah, it was fun. So I basically, as a nun, I kind of wanted to play as a role of like, I didn't want to scream really, because the mask was straight faced, and I wanted to be more of like a stalker. So it worked out well because I would sit in the corner, and then Sean's sister would probably be like, she would look towards me, and then everyone in the tent would be like, oh shit. A lot of people miss me though, because it's so weird. Kids would walk in and their perspective is so like one way. Like they are like not looking around, like being scared of stuff. It's the little ones, the tiny kids that are like 5 or 6 that are like, oh my god. But then every other kid's just walking in just like straight faced. But eventually I got used to like how to scare kids. And when those two, I don't know if you heard those 2 girls walk in. There was 2 girls that were like, I'm not going in here. And then they opened the curtains and see me, and they just screamed for a solid like 5 seconds. I'm like, what?
Were they the ones where like both of their screams were like perfectly harmonized?
Yes,
Oh, I
and
heard
they were
that.
high pitched. I was
so
like,
to fill in some blanks here, our boys got a very long driveway.
yeah.
So like, you gotta, it's not a hike. It's not anything crazy.
No, but it's
but you gotta make
it's
a walk.
a good walk though.
So
for the whole experience.
I'm sitting probably from where Chow is to where I am is probably half the length of the driveway. I heard that over the music we were playing, over the other people, over everything. I heard both of them. I went, damn, Chow scared them so bad. They perfectly synchronized their screams, bro.
It was so funny. There was a few kids like that. Definitely had a few circumstances where the little kids like didn't want to go in because they saw me, and then I had to take my mask off and just be like, "Oh, it's okay. Like, don't worry."
Yeah.
Like it happened like 2 or 3 times. But
yeah, my favorite was so I've got 2 stories to tell you that are hilarious.
all right.
So the first one was, I've always said this, and I said it to you guys. I target teenagers, especially if the teenagers aren't wearing a costume or their costume is like, oh, we're a business professional, and where they're wearing like the black T-shirt with a suit on it. I'm like, yeah, no, you're done here, buddy. So I had a group of kids, probably no more than like 15, 16 years old. Like, I mean, early high schoolers, they got, like, the haircuts with the, yeah, what's up, bruh? What's up, bruh? We got Riz, all that, and a bag of chips.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting there, and I'm not going to lie to you. If you ever want to know who's real and who's fake in a haunted house, you look at their shoes and their hands. Because those are 2 things that it's very hard to cover up. So they look at my shoes, and they're like, oh, this guy's real, this guy's real. They're, like, walking up to me and going, like,
yeah.
So, me being like this, me being like this, and they're right here, the only thing I have to do is just turn my head, and I know I'll get them. So instead of doing that, I was like, oh, I'm going to get these motherfuckers. One of them decided to try to get close to me. So what I did was I just jolted towards him a little bit. Dude fell onto his back. Like literally like a full guard from like mixed martial arts. Full guard. And I'm just like, easy. Half of the 6-year-olds that come here don't even get that scared, but you're you, huh? I didn't obviously say that. I don't break character. I don't speak for like the 3 hours or 3 or 4 hours that we do it. The other story I have, this one I take so much pride in.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the times when it comes to people walking down the driveway, a lot of the times you can normally tell who's like, really scared by it. They won't even enter the driveway. We'll see them because there's like lights at the beginning of the driveway. We'll see them there. And what I do is I'm just like, oh, I'm going to traumatize some kids right now. I'm going to traumatize them. I'm going to make it to where they don't come back next year. So I walk down, and there's this one girl where every single time I take a step, she takes a step back. And I'm like, I'm getting you. I'm getting you. So her whole friend group is like trying to like talk to me and everything, and I'm just zeroed in on this girl. Like if somebody's standing right, like the distance between me and you, and she's right behind you, I'm not even paying you any attention. I'm just looking over here. She walks over there. She walks over here. She walks over there.
Mm-hmm.
Got to a point where I was just pointing at her. I literally was just going
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
pointing to go down the driveway. It got to a point where our friend's sister came down. And she was like, oh, like the girl had come up to her and was like, oh, you know, you guys do a great job, blah, 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 you know, the normal bullshit. And she starts saying like, oh, like, do you know any of the people that are here? They're like, she's like, yeah, I know everyone except for that guy. She points right at me, and I'm just like,
That's good, yeah.
Yes.
That's a good idea.
Into it.
I like that.
So at one point, she ends up, you know, telling her whatever, and she turns her back. I walk right over the caution tape. I walk up directly behind her, and I'm not saying anything. And by the way, if this girl ends up watching this for whatever reason, if she ends up finding this, oh, I got you so good that I'm convinced you pissed your pants. So her friends are right beside me. Her friends aren't saying anything. I'm like, wow, you got some grade A friends. Like, your friends are not going to be my friends just because of this one moment. She turns around, and when I tell you, bloody murder, this girl screamed. I'm convinced that she pissed her pants. I'm convinced she ran up the street and just soiled herself.
Oh my.
I'm convinced. But other than that, it was really good. Another thing that I kind of like touched upon was, so we took breaks every so often, whether it was to get something to eat. We were also drinking. Well, I was drinking a lot. I think I drank like 5 Konas in a matter of an hour.
Really?
Yeah. Like at one point, like our friend's mom came up to me and was just like, "You've had a lot to drink." And I'm like,
Really?
"I
She
know."
said that to you?
Yeah,
That's
she did.
funny.
She was like, "I don't think I've ever seen you this drunk before." I'm like,
What?
You are lying to yourself."
Well, that's good then. Yeah.
But at one point, I see this like group of girls, and they're right like approaching the tent, and they're interlocked arms, right? There's like 7 of them, and they look like the old things. You ever watch like a really old cartoon like Tom and Jerry, where like they cut something and it just like they go like this, and it's like people like holding hands. That's what these girls are like. They're all interlocked arms. So me, I'm drinking my 5th Kona, and I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, really? You guys gotta sit there and interlock arms and walk down a driveway? Grow up. I'm giving them the business a little bit. In the back of my head, I'm just like, please, someone, either Chowski or Chow or Sean or whoever, just somebody walk up behind them. I'm setting you up perfect. I'm throwing a meatball to you. And I think it was it you?
I'm trying to remember.
It was the one where as I'm done like talking to them, they're like, trying to give me the shit back, and I'm just like,
was this in the front?
this was like right outside the tent.
outside. Okay.
So I'm sitting there with the like my beer like this in my hand, and I'm just like, really? You guys got to do whatever and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
As I'm done saying that, I'm like, man, you guys are boring. Timing is everything. They turn around, they see you, and just start bellowing. Not even yelling, just bellowing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
I
was just
remember
like, do you really think that if we're not on duty, we're still not going to try to get you?
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I might have a beer in my hand, and you might be able to see my face, but you better best believe that if I draw your attention, somebody's probably going to be walking up behind you anytime.
No, it's fun though when that happens. When we
it
set
is.
each other up, it's fun.
My aunt ended up coming down, and like, she had a great time, by the way.
That's
like,
good.
She openly said, she was like, oh, next year we're bringing the whole family. I was like, more scares.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's great.
Yeah.
I'll recruit one of my cousins to just sit somewhere and just be like, and.
Oh, we're gonna make it even better next year. We're gonna make it
if there is a next year, but we don't got to get into that.
Yeah, there is gonna be
But
next year.
the funny thing was, at one point she goes, I didn't realize how much you take this seriously until I was here. I didn't even notice she was there until our friend had to tell me, hey Nick, your aunt is here, and I'm like, oh. And I immediately just de-charactered, and I was like, oh hello, like, you gotta go meet everybody. But it was so much fun, bro.
No, she's cool. I like your aunt.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good time. I like that I was in the tent for a while, but then I ended up going outside the tent, like when there was a period of, a quiet period.
Lol.
Yeah, basically. And then I would do you remember a group of like girls, and it was like probably like 5 or 6 people came after probably like 30 minutes of no one there, maybe less, maybe like 10, 15. And then this was perfect. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. Because when there's a small group, it's like you really can scare someone easily. Like they don't know what's going to happen. And I was walking right by the caution tape, and I was able to get behind them before they saw me. And I was walking, like they're walking up the road, and I'm here, and I finally step over the caution tape, and I did pretty much what you did, where I got behind them, and by the time they got out of the tent, they saw me, and I was just standing there, and then they tried to run around me, and then I literally was like stopping them from running, and then one kid booked it, and then I let a few of them go, and then I ended up just like walking.
I do remember that.
I wasn't running though that night, but I ended up walking behind them.
I
for a
do
while.
remember that because I remember seeing just like, like 4 kids run by me.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell happened? Wait, did I tell you about the one kid that was like trying to be cool in front of his friends?
Ugh, I hate when that happens.
There was a kid. He comes up to me and he's like, "I was here earlier. You're not getting me. If you scare me again, I'll give you a piece of candy." And I was like,
What? Okay, yeah.
I literally
what'd you do?
remember
What'd you
just
do?
being like, "Now is that so? Okay, no problem, no problem." I feel like MJ whenever I say that. I'm just sitting back like, "Oh yeah, I took that personally," you know.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there and I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna get this fucking kid." So he walks away from me, not even like 3 or 4 steps
Yeah.
past me. I walk over the caution tape and I'm just following him. Following him. He goes into the tent, and I'm standing right on the edge of the tent where I look like I'm another kid waiting to come in. He walks out. He just bumps right into me, and I just go like this with the axe, like I'm about to hack him. Falls. Another
Really?
kid
Another kid
falls.
falls?
Well,
Oh,
not like falls, but like whoa.
Yeah, he's
like kind of like caught himself and everything. But the funniest part was, I literally looked at him and I was like.
Yeah.
And as I'm like walking away, he just opens up his bag of candy and he hands me a Reese's. I was like, "Dude, keep your candy.
Wow.
Keep your candy. Keep
He
your
kept
candy."
his promise.
Yeah, he kept his promise to
Unbelievable.
me.
Good for him then. Nah, there was a few kids who were just
God.
like, there's this one girl that kept coming up.
I had
was
one
like-
kid grab my ass and tell me I was double cheeked up on a Tuesday.
Okay,
dude.
that's
I was like,
next level.
I'm not standing near the caution tape.
Well, there was
after that.
one girl though that would kept coming back and forth. Like she literally would kept coming back and forth, and then asked us to dap her up every time. I was
Oh
like,
my
no,
God,
stop
I
that.
remember that girl.
I literally wanted to say like, take off my mask, and be like, get the fuck out of here. Like you've done enough. Like go. Like don't you have anything else to do?
Dude,
Like,
you know what I would do
so
is I would
stupid.
look at their hand and just look at them and just be like, and just walk away.
Once you ignore them though, they're just like, all right, it's over. But yeah, that was stupid. I hate when we have those kids.
Some of the blasphemy that I fucking heard that some of these kids were telling me blows my mind. Blows my mind.
I'm not
I'm
surprised.
like, dude, how dumb do you think you are? You're not gonna make me break character. Out of the 3 years I've been doing this, 3 years since I've been doing this, there's only been one person to make me break character, and it was Dan.
As in what? Oh, besides
Dan.
Oh,
He made me laugh.
I got you.
Yeah. Meanwhile, this guy walks down. I told him, I was like, "Yo, like you should stop by, bring your little brother. Like he'll love it, and trust me.
Yeah.
If I see him, I'm targeting him."
Yeah, I like
And I'm like down like this and everything, because I'm trying to play it off that I'm a dummy. So I'm down like this and everything, and I just see these 2 people walking down with like bed sheets, like old ghost costumes from like the 60s, and I'm like. Very interesting choice to just buy bed sheets, cut 2 eye holes out of them, and walk around.
that. Great
Then
costume.
next thing you know, so me and my friend Dan do a lot of stupid things together, and you know when both of us rub our 3 brain cells together, you're probably gonna lose brain cells just being in our presence. But you better best believe you'll laugh.
Yeah,
So Dan
definitely will laugh.
Dan walks up to me, and just goes. Like he's shooting me, and I just immediately went,
The classic.
and I literally take off the mask, and I'm like, "You are the only person that could make me break character." I've had some
Yeah.
dumb shit said to me. I've had some people grab my ass, but no, you are the only person I know that can make me break character.
I'm
But
glad
hey,
he
one
came,
every 3
though.
years, but me
Yeah,
too.
I'm glad he came. I did like his costume though. The classic ghost costume.
yeah.
I love that. But there was some. I feel like when I was a kid, I would wear better costumes though. I didn't see that many good costumes. There were some good
I
ones.
mean, you see
but
a lot
not
of the
made.
same shit every
A lot
time.
of the same shit. Like the blow up ones were funny that we mentioned. But yeah, it was a good Halloween though.
Oh,
I
10
look
out of
forward
10.
to it, and then it's gone already. It's like,
Like,
it's so fast.
Yeah. So when we did this last year, our theme was clowns. All of us were clowns.
Yeah,
I
true.
was the clown from the Terrified movies. Our boy was Pennywise. I don't remember who you were.
I was just some weird clown that
I'm pretty sure
just
he
was
was
like a
from a
screaming clown.
I'm pretty sure it was from a movie.
I don't think.
Besides
it
the
was.
point.
Yeah.
So last year, I think our gimmick was better, but this year we got better scares. Oh, we got better scares. By the way, to all of you haunted house goers, you do know that if you tell the people that are working the haunted house how they can tell you're real, or how you can tell they're real, you do know that they won't make the same mistake twice, right? Last year, I kept hearing, "Oh, I could see your neck. Oh, I could see your neck." I bought a mask that had a hood. This year, I kept hearing, "Oh, I can see your shoes. I can see your shoes. I'm buying fucking black Timberlands next year just to do Halloween
Yeah.
in."
A lot of people thought I was a mannequin too.
Well, your costume was really good. Your
Yeah, it was
costume was
pretty
probably the best out of all of us.
It was pretty good.
Considering our friend does the same 2 costumes every year.
Yeah, he has a theme going that he's not gonna break up. What?
He's like,
They're
"Oh
nice
yeah." He's like,
costumes.
"Oh yeah, we should have a theme.
The
But I'm going to
Pennywise-
do my own thing." I'm like, "Then what the fuck is the point of having a theme?"
The Pennywise costume's good though.
Yeah, it
that's
is.
a good costume. So I don't blame him for wanting to do that. I get it though. I get it. It's kind of like his dad doing Michael Myers every year.
Yeah, but that
like
makes
you go
sense.
there, like well, yeah, it does make sense. He's Michael Myers.
Plus, he's not like, "Oh, I'm going to be Michael Myers for the first 2 hours, and then the next 3, I'm going to be Jason," you know?
Yeah, but like the sense I got is that a lot of kids go there year in and year out, like wanting to see some of the characters, which I get. But we mix it up, which is good. So then there's that mix of like, oh shit, there's Pennywise, and then there's also like, what else is here? You know.
Yeah.
So I like that. I think we did a good job with that.
Also, also to put this into scale, to put this into some perspective for some of you people. This is my neighbor that does this. So obviously, a lot of the kids that go to this place are going to stop by my house first to get candy. My dad buys 500 pieces of candy every year. You want to know how many people were there? My dad gives everyone 1 to 2 pieces of candy, depending on how good their costume is. Like
Yeah.
for instance, if their costume's shit, he's giving them 1.
Yeah.
If their costume's good, he's getting 2. But if you're visibly under the age of 11, you're getting 2 pieces either way. So, my dad bought 500 pieces of candy. Remember that number. He went through all the candy in an hour and a half, from 5 o'clock to 6:40-ish,
That's so dumb.
to the point where, as I'm getting ready and everything, he looks at me and goes, "Nick, did you buy any extra candy?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got some upstairs. Like, do you need extra candy?" He's like, "Nick, I'm halfway through it already."
That's
I was
hilarious. Oh my god.
like, "When did the trick-or-treaters start coming in droves?" He goes, "Right when you got home from work at 5 o'clock?" And I was like, "Dad, it's 5:45. How are we halfway out of candy?" Just to put that into some perspective of how many people come here. Like, we always try to guess how many people come. Like, my aunt asked me, like, "How many people do you think have been here?" I'm like, "Easily 150.
Easily.
My dad looked
That's
at me
what I
and was
thought,
like,
too.
"That's probably a way underestimation."
He
That's
really thought that?
My
No
dad was
way.
telling me that there's over 300 people that came. Because think about it. Think about it like this. If you
nuts,
look at it
though,
from the
if
lowest
that's
common
true.
denominator, my dad has 500 pieces of candy. He gives everybody 2. That's 250 people.
Yeah, if you look at it like that, yeah.
And think about
Definitely.
it. That's 250 kids.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah, let
including
alone
parents.
parent-
Not
yeah.
including teenagers.
Man.
Easily 300 people.
Like I've been saying though, I think High Street is the most popular street in the in our area, like within like a 10-mile radius. I swear. Like
Especially
I don't
on
think there's
Halloween.
one.
You know it's
street-
bad. You know it's bad. You know it's bad when a couple days before Halloween, I'd be going on the Butler community community homepage, and I'll be sitting there and I'm like, let's see what the moms are saying.
Yeah.
And I'll be like,
you-
and I'll
you
see like,
say
oh, the
that.
people at the bottom of Blankety Street, are they still doing it? Are they still doing it? And it's all like the moms like speculating and everything, and I'm just like, I'm just sitting there, just like, I'm sitting there just like twirling my mustache, like, wait until the day.
Yeah, no, it's such a good day to look forward to. It really is.
It is. And a
It
lot of the
really
times,
is.
like, I've had a couple people that I work with ask me like, why do you guys still do this? If when you were younger, like they've been doing this for about like 15 years.
15. Wow.
15.
Wow.
Like I'm 26, and I'm pretty sure they've been doing it for a long time.
Well, they have enough like stuff.
Space.
Yeah, and space. They've accumulated so many things.
I tell people this as it is, and I don't know if this is the reason, but this is what makes sense in my head. Is it started off as something that you do it for your kids. You did it for his son, daughter, the neighbors, and everything like that. But as it gets older and older, it becomes like you become a part of it. You start working with it more. And a lot of the times we want to do this for the kids. We want to do it for where these kids have memories of that, where in 20 years from now, a lot of the kids who, we'll never see again, Like, for instance, I could walk down the street right now and see one of the kids and I wouldn't even know who the fuck they were. That kid that I told you about earlier, or that I told the community about earlier.
Yeah.
I will never see that kid again. I don't even remember what he looks like. I don't. But knowing that I made that one kid's night enough for him to tell me that he loves this house. He was sitting there telling me like, "Don't ever move out of this house." I was like, my guy, I don't even live here. I live over there.
Yeah, I'm right there actually.
I'm the boring house over there that ran out of candy fucking 2 hours ago.
Oh man,
but
I love when kids love that stuff because eventually they're gonna want to do stuff like that too one day.
And it's also something where our town is small enough where not a lot of things happen. Like you remember Bailey Ave? Bailey Ave back in the day, like our age group, that's where we went.
Yeah.
And then when Bailey Ave shut down, because majority of the people that used to do that moved away.
They moved away.
It was something where it was like, what's next?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, how much time do we got left?
We got a few minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, man. I mean, overall, it was just, it's a great experience. We really do it for just this, I don't want to say the stick of it, but we do it because, we're part of the population. Like, I don't know about you, but for me, I enjoy Halloween more than I enjoy, like, Thanksgiving. Because I'm not a big, like, ham person. I don't really like cranberry sauce. A lot of the things that are served, traditionally through Thanksgiving, I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah, I think now I'd agree with you. I think I'd put Halloween first, Thanksgiving second, Christmas third. In that order.
Oh, no. Christmas clears. Christmas clears.
Not for Christmas.
Christmas clears.
The gift giving after a while gets a little tedious. Like it's a point where it's like, all right, do we have to get each other gifts? Like it's kind of at that point with my family. Yeah. So I like Thanksgiving more because it's actually about like just all of us getting together and just eating
and watching good old football. Watching good old football.
Watching the Giants lose. Yeah. So yeah, but those are my holidays in order.
Unpopular opinion. I got you guys losing this week.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome.
I probably agree, but
go ahead. Tell me that my team is losing this week.
I don't want to because I have no obligation of even
because you
caring
can't because we won.
Yeah, it's fuck it. I don't even.
One of the ugliest games of football I've ever watched in my life. There was fucking like 30 penalties in the first 3 minutes of the game, and then Holcomb. I can never pronounce his name. The linebacker. I sent you the video in our group chat, right? Of that knee injury he had. Oh my god.
Oh
bro.
yeah.
Up there with Nick Chubb. It's bad.
That shit was bad.
It's bad.
Yeah, that shit was bad.
But before we end up getting into a tangent about football, we really hope you guys enjoyed our little spew about how our Halloween was.
Yeah.
Again, hope your Halloween was safe, happy, and healthy. Thank you again for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a like. Comment if you really want to. Follow the TikTok too. When I eventually get around to finishing editing the 7 projects I have in my
TikTok though. Most people have it. Just find us and follow us. That's simple. So.
Tell your friends about us. Yeah. We're pretty cool people. Well, unless you're hate watching, then kick rocks barefoot. Because other than that, we hope you guys have a great day.
And yeah.
Yeah. Peace and love.
See you later.
Stay beautiful.